computer.
Right, start that. Folks, I'm gonna call this meeting to order. It's January 15th, 2025. Please rise with me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everybody see Jill's new picture up there?
Oh, yeah, very cool.
Can't say we aren't a classy joint
We
here.
are classy.
Roll call when you're ready, Judy.
Weber,
Here.
Marble,
Here.
Wright,
Here.
Ferris,
Here.
Van Meter here.
Adoption of the agenda. I've got a couple of amendments to it. Did anybody else have one?
Nope.
Okay, first of all, I don't believe the county commissioner is here, nor did we receive a report from her, so you can cross out number 8. I added something under reports alphabetically. It goes airport budget. Afterwards, it should be calendar. We forgot to do something on the calendar, so we have a quick vote on that. And I think that's it.
Were we gonna cross the airport off since he's not here?
No, we are gonna talk about the meeting.
Okay.
Oh, I know one other thing. Under financials, at the very end, we need to do a mileage reimbursement, resolution, which I think is in your,
Yes. It's in
So,
the packet.
yep.
I was gonna ask if that's where it was or down below with the rest of them, so.
with those amendments, I move that we accept the agenda. Do I have a second?
I second that.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor, just say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed. Next is conflict of interest. Any declarations at this time?
No.
Let the record show there's none. Minutes are next.
I thought they were really good.
Okay.
Somebody want to move? Do you have you think you've got a note there or something?
Yeah. No, I thought I did, but that was, oh yeah, just no, it's okay. It's something I was pointing out for myself.
Okay,
I make a motion that we accept the minutes as written.
okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. Thank you. Next is the fire report, Mikey.
No, we forgot correspondence.
Correspondence.
Oh, you know what? That was the other thing. I lost that piece of correspondence.
And
I
you
should have,
called him.
I called him and he said he'll submit it for next time. He was asking us not to have the Iron Man. And so
So are we,
just crossing that out. So sorry.
do you resubmit for next meeting?
He will. He was,
You know him, he was fine.
he was
I'm sure.
actually in the air flying for whatever
Oh, yeah.
American Airlines or something when I
That,
would hate to be the cause of crashing there. So, okay, now it's the fire report.
Each of you got a copy of the report in front of you. Any questions?
I will admit that I did not know you were part-time. I thought you were.
I'm full-time. I'm the only.
I know, but I thought the department,
Oh, yeah.
I absolutely thought
I
it was
went to
full-time.
Michigan Avenue just, Monday. By monthly report with them. 7 out of 14 that were full-time. We're not full-time.
Amazing.
We do more, volunteer time. I have a person that comes in, so I could be relieved. He doesn't normally start till 9 o'clock. He'll come in at 4 or 5 o'clock. I'll just hang around till I go.
Wow.
So that's pretty neat. And I have a person that comes in at 4 o'clock on 4 o'clock on Friday afternoon. And he doesn't leave until Sunday morning.
Wednesday's a whole.
Yeah, days a week.
Oh.
And that's the dedication of group we got, protects the community. So,
I was amazed.
we have 24 members, actually, according to the report, a little adjustment there. 3 fill-ins and, now I have another cadet. I have 4 cadets.
Look at that, that's
Yep,
great.
4 cadets. So we're moving along in that direction. A couple things I want to touch on the report. I gave you the formula.
Yeah, it's a story problem.
Well, yeah.
I tried to figure it out myself, but
Yeah. That formula is used on that, and then once the budget's established, we take that, those percentages based upon this multipliers that are put in there are plugged into it, and your percentage comes out of that is what your charge will be.
Okay.
Okay, the 27th, I think it's noted in there, February, we're gonna be having another budget meeting, another, fire advisory board meeting. I think that was in the report here. On the 27th of February, we'll be meeting. So I know that you're working on your budgets right now, so. You said that's, I'm trying to, for us, it's looking at a crystal ball. The city's looking at a crystal ball because ours ends on the 30th of June, doesn't start till, so we don't start our budget process until about April. And then you're already done. So now we're working on it. Administration, we've now got 4 new medical personnel in the department. Aaron Shaver completed his national registry exam as a medical first responder. Zachary Severson, he recently joined the department from the Air Force. He has a Department of Defense National Registry EMT, but we're trying to get that approved in the state of Michigan. So see if they go with reciprocity. They're giving them reciprocity for firefighter 1 and firefighter 2 and hazmat experience. So Al Bruce and Heather Atkinson both completed their EMT basic classes, and they're now waiting to take their national registry exam to complete that process.
Wow, I'm so glad those, so
Yeah, that's 6 months of school.
Mhm.
David Gum, believe it or not, made 83 out of 159 calls last year, and Alexander Johnson made 171 out of the 630 calls received for EMS. Another thing I wanted to talk on was the state figures started coming in on fire related fatalities. There's a 10% drop in fire calls. The sad news is deaths have increased. If you see here in my report, it showed that last year that there was 96 deaths and 92 fires. That's a 19% reductions in deaths over 2023, but it's still high. One of they're discovering is smoke detectors have a 10-year life on. Carbon monoxides have a 10-year life. Those electric ones that are wired in have a 10-year lifespan.
really,
Yes, they do. They got a little sticker on the back. And that one goes off, they all go off.
yes, they do.
Or sometimes they fail. And unfortunately, there is a solution. And one of the stations, a book I was recently reading, talked about it. They did a whole, I guess, public service campaign on, called Put a Finger on It. Put a finger on it, check it, and make sure it's making a racket. So if it's not, then the battery's not working. A lot of them nuisance ones, close to the kitchen, they're nuisance, so they just pluck the battery out and bad things happen. So put a finger on it, make sure it works. One of the other things I wanted, my happy notes, you already read them, so you kind of gave it away. A lot of these people covered my Christmas, so don't bother the chief. He's gonna have Christmas with his family. This was after Christmas. I worked Christmas, my wife worked Christmas Day. And so they're at the station and everybody else covered afterwards. So we basically made sure that we had from Christmas Day until after we could, after Monday to come back, so covered by my team. We made sure that happened. One of the things that I did today, just to give you a heads up, what I'd like to do for my team, and I'm just throwing this out there to the board. They don't ask for much, but they do a lot. I would like to consider in my budget this year, a means or ways to get them. I was talking with Dr. Lozarski up at the Munson Occupational Health and provide occupational health physicals to all my firefighters. Not only will it protect them against cancer and protect against particular diseases that might happen in our occupation, pulmonary lung function, and other key, they run a whole battery of tests that are specifically set up to NFPA 1582, which covers specific things that they have to check. He runs a good program for Metro and for the city fire. So he's gonna give me costs on what
Okay,
that would be,
great,
so that I
okay.
can kind of budget that in. But I'm gonna see if we can, for them, it's not for me, it's for them,
About 30 people, you think?
about 30 people.
30 people.
Yep.
And what is the average cost on it? Do you have any idea?
I think it's $1,000 per person. Because they gotta do baseline, and baseline is where they're gonna do their x-rays, chest x-rays to start everything out, all your blood gases. Find out exact where to start it all on out, and then after that's done with, then every year. They get the follow-up, and their follow-up is gonna be a lot less money, because they have their baseline, now they'll just build on that, they'll do the pulmonary check, they'll do an EKG if you're over 40. They'll do, obviously blood gases and things like that, to see if there's any changes or any types of cancer that may show up, so. And they're very diligent about that, and it's saving firefighters' lives, so. That's the least I can do for them, I can do that.
Oh, definitely. You want, you're gonna be putting that estimate in the current budget?
I'm gonna try to talk, in fact, I'm talking to the mayor tomorrow, we're gonna start working on the budget, try to, plan it out.
I think it's
Any
good.
questions for Mike?
Questions?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
You want me to stick around, or
No need
don't
to.
need to, okay.
We like your smiling face, but you know.
I enjoy it.
Actually, I thought I'd show you, with fire in the news.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Just slightly. I gave you an article once about the huge conflagration in the middle of Kansas, and you don't think of huge fires. Anyway, and then, in local history, until LA, the third largest fire in the United States in our history was in Michigan.
They can.
It was, the Great Michigan Fire they talk about. Grand Traverse area was largely spared, but areas as close as Manistee were practically burned to the ground. So I just thought I'd give you this article just so, if you
Yeah.
wanted to show, it could
He
happen here.
loves to read about.
Oh,
fire.
I know.
I actually, I did it. I don't know if anybody ever listened to the new radio station in town, WUW.
No, but Kathy's involved with that.
I did a interview this morning on that. I just did an interview on it.
Yeah, I interviewed you. I mean, we interviewed.
Oh,
We
you?
interviewed. Before the pancake breakfast.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yep, Gretchen was the one this morning.
Oh, okay, this morning.
This
I'm
morning,
sorry.
this morning.
And what's the radio station? We should put a plug in for it. 1.1?
100.
Point one.
Yes.
Okay.
It goes around somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Lots of
it was
I
very
know.
informative.
Trying to remember to carry stickers with me.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Have a good evening.
Public comment at this time. Anybody wish to stand up and Joe?
With the county report,
tell me your name?
Joe Dental, address, 1280 Potts Road. I guess this is the second meeting, there hasn't been a county report, because I don't think there was one in the last meeting.
Right.
And I mean, Karen used to do, I think, a great job of that, letting us know what's going on in the county that might affect us. And I don't know if you're expecting that to happen in the future. I don't know if Christine has said she's gonna be in, or.
I actually wrote her specifically 2 weeks ago and I said, you do what you want, but this is what we've had in the past. It'd be nice to have that again. Didn't hear a word.
Yeah, well, maybe she doesn't, maybe we can find another way to cover that or something.
Yeah. And so if you know her and wanna
No, not
give her a
real
little,
well.
oh,
Yeah, I did that.
yeah, give her a little nudge.
All right.
Thanks. Any other personal or public comment at this time? All right, thank you. Financials.
There is about 937,000 in the general fund. Cemetery altogether with all the endowments and such, we're at about 390,000. Fire fund, fire fund's at 194,000 and road funds at 591. That's going up because in the winter, the disbursements for tax, in the summer, it's all about schools, and in the winter, it's roads and fire and public transportation in the libraries. So you'll see that number go up as we disperse funds. And this is December, and we're now, 2.5 weeks into January, almost 3, and so that tax fund number's way off. We're probably at close to 1 million. And I just dispersed for the first time. And anybody that wants to see the full reports, just let me know and I'll send them to you, and they're out on the website.
Yep.
And Amy and you'll go cover that with the budget. All right, that's me.
Hey, any questions about finances? Okay, next would be the warrant report.
There was one additional bill that arrived after the report was printed. Bayside print and copy for $244.39.
Under general fund?
Yes, I'm sorry, under general fund, and I forgot to add it for a new total, hang on. Okay, so the new total for the general fund is $3,032.15. Cemetery fund expenses total $65.24. And we received the third quarter invoice for fire and EMS for the city of Frankfurt. So the fire fund total is $37,121.25. And there were no expenses for the road fund. I move we accept the warrant report as amended.
I'll
Right.
second it.
Oh, you're so fast. Any discussion? Okay, we're gonna take roll call?
Ferris,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Marble,
Yes.
Van
Great.
Meter, yes.
Next is the standard mileage rate adoption for 2025. The IRS puts out every year a recommended per mile cost that should be reimbursed. We don't have to do it. But this is the maximum that you can do in order that if you're reimbursed, it doesn't affect your taxes. You don't have to report that money as income. So that's what most everybody follows. So therefore, I move that Crystal Lake Township resolves that retroactively beginning January 1st of this year, the standard mileage reimbursement rate for the your personal vehicle for only legally acceptable and township approved business, like that would never be from home to office and things
No.
like that, shall be 70 cents per mile driven. Anybody second?
I will.
Okay. Any discussion? You wanna take roll call?
Weber,
Yes.
Ferris,
Yes.
Van Meter, yes. Marble,
Yes.
Wright,
No. I'm a little concerned about salaries and reimbursements being going up all the time, and you know, it's a small township, there should be a what do you call it? Should not be that professional that people would want to join just to collect that salary for a nice part-time job.
Well, I think that the only people that we have that do that is when we send people to training. Do we ever? Can,
I'm okay with it, I just wanna.
you
Okay.
just want to making a symbolic vote, no. Can you think of anything, Judy, that we pay out?
It should be about a little bit of a volunteer position.
Okay. So, with that, even though with the no vote, over there, I declare that resolution adopted. And that's done for financials. Reports, there isn't a written one for the airport. It didn't have a meeting in December, so we didn't have anything reported from there. But, I did get a message from the county administrator, Caitlin Seitz, and she would like to pull all of us together, the supposedly members of the airport authority. And so almost immediately I answered for Jill and myself when we're available. And then a week or two later, I got a message from Joanne. I was copied on it
I'm
saying,
the mayor.
yeah, I'm sorry, Joanne Holward of the the mayor of Frankfurt. And she said, oh, I've corrected things that we want to see changed, talking for the city on this is it memorandum of understanding?
Memorandum of understanding.
Yeah. Except she said, here it is, but it's not attached. So I haven't seen what they want to do. I have sent Caitlin, she asked me to, like all the material that we gathered when we were debating this, including our lawyer's recommendation that we don't sign it. So, I just wanted to tell everybody out there And I know there's somebody here that I know is very involved with the airport, and so I would love for you to express your opinion after the meeting or something. But we don't know when that meeting's gonna take place, and I don't know what's gonna happen with that, so. Just letting you know. Next thing is budget. You have a proposed calendar here. Therefore, I want you to circle a couple of dates there. The most important one is the second to last bullet. That is when we will hold a special budget public hearing. It would be right after our office hours on Wednesday. I'm not making a big effort to have it at night because nobody ever
comes.
shows up. And so at noon, and we could change that to 1 if somebody else wants it at 1. You speak up now.
We got a little bit.
But that's when I thought we would have the budget presented to the public in advance. You can come in and get it. It'll be posted, blah, blah, blah. And that's the time people can come and say, no, you're overpaying the supervisor horribly. And they can complain and make suggestions.
February 26th at noon. I don't think you said the date.
Oh, I'm sorry. So is that okay? Is that self-explanatory, that page?
And it's,
And
we'll
then-
have it posted way before that.
Yes.
That is my goal.
Well, what happens is that we're supposed to do it, or I'm supposed to be in charge of it. You're wonderful to help. And then we have to bring it to the board. So we have to do that first, and then we can take it to the public,
And the notice gets put in the paper.
Yep, all of that.
all that stuff. So, okay, any other questions about the budget?
Have you asked everybody to get their stuff to you?
No, would you get that stuff to me? If you have any budget requests?
Brian put a great one together.
He did, buildings and grounds, and usually zoning has something to say. Although I don't think we're buying anything big for him this year. We bought a great big map for him, a contour map and stuff that was lots of money in a previous year, so. All right, so next one is the calendar, and you've got a calendar resolution, I hope, in front of you. Did I put it in there correctly? For some reason, in December, we did not do this correctly, and it's the days that the office is closed. And then good thing Sandra pointed out, because we had forgotten July entirely. So, so it's attached to your resolution, and I move that the Crystal Lake
Hang on
Township.
just a second. It's
Oh.
also the meeting dates. Those were not approved. So it's the whole packet that we had before.
Oh,
Even though it's
I
not.
thought we did.
No,
I thought
all
we did the meeting.
All we did was, the holiday dates.
Okay, I believe you.
I thought, because,
No, we did not.
Okay.
Even though they've already been in the newspaper.
all right, so we should
Okay.
say the attached schedules for 2025 and stick
Yes.
the,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna make an amendment to the resolution that
It's-
says,
It already says it adopts the following attached schedules for 2025. We'll just,
Attached.
all right, if you say so, okay,
Attached to our.
Mine's already
Didn't
attached.
do last,
Okay.
last meeting.
Whatever you guys say.
okay, I so move, and who has a second for me?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Sue Weber. And then I don't think we need a roll call vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. Thank you very much. Calendar is dispatched. Next thing is the IT department, and this is a biggie. Talk about spending money, Greg. There is a software company in the state of Michigan that has the market cornered on almost everything relating to keeping records for the township. Mostly financial.
Mostly financial, BSNA, and I looked it up because I thought it was something, the name had accounting in it, and it's not. It's two people's name and associates. So
And let's see if you can
I
pronounce the
can't,
names.
so it's just BSNA software.
You
When I
can't
did my,
pronounce the names.
when I did my research, we are, if not the last, the next to last township that has not transferred to BSNA. We use QuickBooks Desktop, which is extremely outdated, and it's not made for government accounting. So you're doing a lot of manipulating to make it match the bank statements, so it's only as good as my data entry. and it's kind of ridiculous what I go through to make it match what the bank says. BSNA will connect to the bank. I can also attest to, we have BSNA for our tax work. When you write a ticket, they are on the phone in 30 minutes asking to be connected to your computer to offer help. If you try to get a hold of anybody at Intuit, QuickBooks, pack a lunch, stay overnight, you might hear back and you might get somebody that can help you. So the bottom line is it is extremely expensive and we are estimating that it'll be $45,000 to do the transition with the training. But I can't stress enough, every treasurer I talk to can't even help me anymore because nobody uses QuickBooks. The smallest townships have gone to this.
Right in our area.
Yeah, everybody.
Even my dentalist, hygienist at, in Beulah, she's the treasurer for Spring Hill or Springdale. Springdale.
Which is in Manistee County.
They can't have much money in Springdale. They went to it years ago. She goes, oh yeah, big
And-
chunk of money.
Greg, I can show you everybody I called because I was looking for help. Mainly my call went out at first, who can help me with QuickBooks? And then I soon learned, nobody. And then when you get out on the Michigan Township Association, like Treasurer's Daily Digest, and you write, what's everybody using? BSNA, BSNA, BSNA. It used to be the desktop version was a little bit less money. Now they're really not even supporting that. Everything's cloud-based. And while it's a big expenditure, I think overall, it'll make things a whole lot more transparent than me creating numbers.
Well, and Jill's not the only one that uses QuickBooks.
Right.
I do too, and it's terrible. It's
We watch that little thing
slow as
spin.
a snail. I mean, you could sit there and take a nap.
We both cannot be in BSNA at this, I mean, in QuickBooks at the same time.
Pardon?
BSNA is the only alternative?
It
Pretty
is, it is.
Isn't that what the antitrust laws are for, to keep them from?
But it's because they have such a good product and they're the only ones making it.
It's a Michigan-based company.
Yeah, and it's Michigan based, which we love. But right now, Judy and I cannot work at the same time in QuickBooks. We have to say to each other, are you logged out? Can I get in? And then you watch your little thing spin. So therefore be it resolved, Crystal Lake Township Board authorizes the initial purchase of the appropriate BSNA software, the specifics to be determined by Treasurer Marble and IT staffer Brian Halliday, not to exceed $45,000. This is a long process. We will have a demo sometime in February and we're looking at 8 months out before they can even get to us. So
That's why we thought we'd start it now. This isn't gonna be even installed till next fall.
Right,
On my copy, you added, an amendment to the third whereas.
did I?
Yeah, you said it's BSNA software for tax and assessing.
Oh, I didn't,
Yeah, taxes and assessing, and I only said assessing.
I didn't write this.
I know,
And there
I
are-
did, and you corrected it.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, so just put taxes for taxes and assessing.
Okay, you're right, because Jill Brown works in this, the county works in it, everybody works in it.
Okay, so you amend your motion
I
to
do,
that,
I amended
Okay,
to that.
and then do we have a second?
I do.
Oh,
Greg,
Gregor, any further discussion? Just to answer you just a little bit more, we really have done our due diligence. Like, for example, there's a company in Iowa that takes QuickBooks and tries to do something to the software so that it fits to it. I mean, we've talked to people all across the country, and this seems to be the best thing.
Reputable,
Yeah.
on-demand service.
Yeah.
help on-
Crazy good
over the phone,
service.
So, okay, so,
Quick question though.
yeah,
Just-
sure.
Just because I know I've gone through this myself, and this is a good deal, because it cost me a lot more than that. Trust me, $2,700 a month is what I paid for my system that does all of this. But the
Really?
question is our computers compatible to this program?
Yes,
It is, okay,
Mhm.
good, so we don't have to upgrade.
No, Brian has
That's
looked at
fantastic.
all of it. Our computers are in great shape and it's still, it's running BSNA tax right now
Oh,
seamlessly.
Seamlessly, excellent, that's good, because that's what I found when I did
Oh.
my system, I had my own.
That it's all of a sudden you need new computers.
Yeah, I had to get an upgrade to
Really?
the system.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
But this is, if it runs anything like my system does, it is streamless, this is perfect.
It's good to hear.
Yeah,
Roll call when you're ready.
Right,
Yes.
Weber,
yes,
Van Meter, yes, Marble,
Absolutely.
Ferris,
Yes. Thank you, that resolution is passed. Next we go to legal. It's just not a written report or anything, just an update on the lawsuit. We're having a special meeting and this is already up on the website and it's already posted around. But just a warning that if you come, you're very welcome to come, but as soon as we we start the meeting, we almost adjourn it or we take recess to go into private session with the lawyer. So that is happening. I just wanted you to know that, and we're supposed to go to mediation on February 5th. And so I don't know who's gonna go with me. I know I'm supposed to be the person to start with. This is the difficult thing. It's somebody who would be able to, with me, figure out, read the minds of the rest of the board members on what, if they have to settle, how much we would settle for.
and won't we discuss that January 22nd?
We probably will.
Mhm.
He'll probably talk about that. So
Mhm.
just being transparent here.
And I told
Right.
Judy I would be glad to go.
Well, and I am available if something comes up that you can't, so.
All right. On to planning and zoning. There's a report in your packet. It's a really nice report.
It is.
Yeah,
I
it
was gonna say, but it comes out here.
He is so good at this
He is
stuff.
so, I found it very interesting just going through each piece of it
Me too.
and seeing who did what and
Yeah.
the growth in our communities, I thought it was great.
So if you guys haven't seen these things and you want to know who took out permits to do what in the area, I'd
Yeah.
be glad to give you one.
How many permits?
40 something?
Yeah.
The
44 permits.
The 44, it was down from last year, but still very good.
Only by 4 projects.
Yeah, no, it's only by 4 projects, so growth is still going on, or changes.
That's a lot of stuff to review.
Since 12 new residents
Mhm.
built.
Yeah,
Wow. They add up over the years.
Yeah, I took a walk. I didn't even know Grant South, or not, Grant Porteous
Porteous,
is
theirs
going
is
up. Oh
Up
my
fast.
goodness. Okay, so, that's planning and zoning. Now we've got another big money thing coming up with roads. We're just gonna okay the estimate. Doesn't mean we're actually paying for it, but yes, it gives them the confidence that they're to go ahead and plan on doing our road capping. Here is their estimate. It's in the same form every year. And he talks about, like back in October, he came back with a estimate that this thing called chip seal, fog seal costs between $263 and $268. What's SYD? A square yard? Must be. So a square yard. So to chip and seal our roads, $750,000.
How does that compare to past deals? That sounds awfully high.
Actually, I don't think it's really gone up that much. We've done roads a lot, and it's more than chip and seal. And then the chip and seal is what he's convinced us is cheaper, but just as efficacious. And now Sandra and I hate the noise. Chip and seal is noisy,
It is, I don't like it
we
either,
drive
but
over it.
but as Doc would say, it's cheaper. So, with that, we're going to approve chip and seal and I think we didn't do as many roads, so we've got road money and then the new road money coming in is gonna handle this.
It should.
Yeah, that's what I was concerned about, 'cause I had put my note down here that our budget, and what we have now is only $591,000. So I was going to ask our treasurer, how are we gonna pick up the shortfall of, about $155,000?
She's collecting taxes
Well,
as
if
we
I-
speak.
And then I looked at my taxes and I realized that
You will be paying
I
for
paid
it.
$88 to donate to this year. So, yeah, I saw that, and then I calculated out how many houses in the area, and I go, okay, we've got the money.
Good, she figured it all
I
out.
had it all calculated. It was
Okay,
just
good.
me doing
That's
my
why
numbers.
we put the.
The only thing
millage on
is
the
my
ballot.
vote's not on it, but that's okay.
Millage.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and move that Crystal Lake one accepts the estimate that's attached, acknowledges the actual costs may be billed upon completion, and it is only an estimate, and you direct me to sign the contract. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. And any further discussion? All right, roll call when you're ready.
Van Meter, yes. Marble,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Ferris,
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
All right, I declare that motion carried.
We'll be happy.
Yes, you will.
You would be, Doc would be pleased of this. Thank you.
Is Bill Walton, Bruce Walton involved?
He is, and Doc doesn't wanna be, he wants to be emeritus, he wants to be consulted and give us advice, but not actually which is nice, it'll be a good transition. If we can find somebody out there who wants to be the roads guy or the roads girl, so. Okay, we're done with reports, old business, Iron Man update. I don't know if there's really an update other than
Sandra, before she left,
their meeting.
she filled out the online stuff that needs to go to MDOT.
Okay,
So she handled that before she left. We attached the resolution. She also sent the minutes that were draft form. She thinks this guy's gonna write me and say he needs the final minutes. And I have her whole folder in the login, and if he does, I'll go in and attach. I may send it to him anyway, just so we look like we're organized.
good.
And then she said, there's nothing, you just sit and wait.
So, okay, committee assigns, this is the one we're here, we're still working on this. Anybody have any comments? I'll tell you what I'm thinking is that there's several other committees besides what's on our little cheat sheets here, like buildings and grounds. Do we want all these committees still? I don't know.
I think if any, for building and grounds, if anything big came up, Brian would reach out to others and form a committee
Right, as needed.
as needed. So I don't think they're officially, didn't they meet regularly?
Nobody meets regularly.
Okay, but I thought they anyway, I think Brian handles it. He comes to us when he's got questions, and if there's a big project, he'll reach out to others and get a committee.
Okay, so in board of review, for example, that's already taken care of. It's
Yep.
dictated to us. Cemeteries, we have that, we actually even have something called the DNR Betsy River Zoning Review Board, and we put 2 people on that. It's something that if zoning problems come up relating to the Betsy River, there's 2 people on that. Is there anything, I know that I have notes, copious notes. I know what Sue and you guys once told me that you were interested in. Here's my biggest concern is the airport. And you actually said you might be interested in airport.
I could,
I'm worried about your time availability.
yeah, that's, it's a struggle, cause I do work and how much time I would have.
Yeah, and that does meet regularly.
They meet on a regular basis, don't they?
Yeah,
Well,
Fourth
I
Thursday.
was given the map.
What
so
is it?
Fourth Thursday
Okay.
at 6.
Harwood's found the map, big map. I have it now at my house. Given to me as a gift.
do you have an idea of someone who'd like to be on the airport committee?
Is that different from, what, David Spraggins is doing?
No, he's one of our guys so far.
Okay.
In other words, he's our appointment to the authority. So you would be a member of the authority. It's pretty big stuff.
Were you going to,
And maybe you want to take that.
I don't know.
I have two people that had volunteered before.
I thought there were three besides David.
Oh, you're right, Paul May, a Todd Grebe, is that how you say his name? Does this ring a bell with you? And then there's another, I can't remember his name.
Eric is one of the guys who's from Frankfurt that's on the.
Yeah, Eric's on it already.
Yeah.
So we need somebody, he lives in Frankfurt, we need somebody from Crystal Lake Township, like you.
So what we need is another representative and then
And
an
an alternate.
alternate that can go when the representatives can't go. That's kind of what we need.
How often do they meet?
Once a month, the fourth Thursday at 6 o'clock. At the airport
And
terminal.
it's not an easy thing.
It's a very laid back meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree.
What were you gonna say to me regarding the airport?
I don't know.
Okay, I thought you were.
So
I
should I
would be
just,
willing to be the alternate. But I don't wanna, I mean, the substitute,
okay,
whatever you call it.
yeah, I'm worried about your time availability too, just like Sue's. I mean, we're taking on a lot of stuff here and you don't get paid for this.
That's why I say the alternate.
So if you guys in the audience have any idea of a person that we might recruit for this, get a hold of me.
And I would check with those other three.
Yes.
See if they're still interested.
Yeah, I've called two of them,
Okay.
so,
And then Sue and Blight,
Yes.
Josh, are you still interested?
I'm always available.
Yeah.
Okay.
so yeah, that's our biggest thing, is like, we are going to, you and I meet.
Yeah, we are going to
It,
be.
are you gonna still,
Oh, yeah, definitely. I
Okay.
already have a, you know, cause I pulled all the townships. And I've been actually pulling townships out of Grand Traverse too. And like I said before, we've gotta look at our blight, the way it's set up, and figure how we can make it more enforceable. Cause I even pulled up, you know, when you did it in 2016 and we didn't win on that place up there to get it cleaned out, you know, it just didn't happen.
well, that's, we never brought them. But we brought Judge Jaworski, and then the judge just looked at the case and, you know, all this build up to get to court, and then he goes, you're in the wrong court.
Yeah, and then you had to change the court.
Yeah,
So.
and then the
I think-
board
Alright, so
said,
you
drop
guys are
it.
gonna meet.
Okay,
We're gonna
yeah.
meet,
Josh.
definitely, Josh,
Okay,
and I think that, I was thinking too, that Alan, maybe, Margot could be part of this, at least helping us get it set up. And because we've got,
why don't you call him and ask?
I will ask him that question, okay.
I'll let him know.
The first thing we have to do before anything is start writing the letters and saying, this is, you know, by spring, we want this cleaned up, or we're gonna start taking
That's
action,
right,
that kind of stuff.
That's what we've gotta do, we have gotta look at those 6 areas, well, actually 7.
Yeah.
I do have Tom, Mauer, who might be interested in being on the board with us, he's, or at least come and be to the meetings. Cause when I was speaking with Tom, he said, hey, so do you know that place over here, and how about that place over here? And I go, on Michigan Avenue, really? He's, oh yeah, you should see it, so I didn't know it was even there, so.
I can't think of Michigan Avenue either.
Yeah, there's one out there, it's right in by the Williams area.
Okay,
Alright, cemeteries.
but yeah, cemeteries, fence viewer, you know what a fence viewer
I
is?
would do cemetery.
I'll put you on there, do you think that's?
East or north?
You need to have family in that cemetery,
Oh, I do?
Yeah.
I have family in North, right?
right? So you would be one of the 2 representatives.
Gotta find our family.
Gotta find my family.
What does that do? What do you mean?
But you also have a burial right.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
you're there.
But I get east, I have no sense of direction, guys, so they could be in the South Cemetery for all I know.
You're in the cemetery.
My understanding is Amy is the administrator. If somebody has a problem, they come and she tries to deal with the problem, and then if not, it comes to whoever's on that committee and we sit with you and work with.
And we kind of argued about this today. I remember they come to you first and then to me, but we'll figure this out.
Right.
Whatever the ordinance
And if
says.
anybody else is interested in.
Yeah, if you've got family in
cemetery-
east or north, and if you're interested. Fire and rescue,
Wait a minute.
Doc,
I'm gonna be on the environmental committee
are you?
with Abby.
Okay, and I think she's already got one person too,
Good.
but I don't want anybody to get over committed here.
I like the-
Media, I'll tell you what I use that person for, Ellen Hersher on South Shore. I send her my stuff like for the, newsletter every year, twice a year. She picks it apart, as do you, tells me I said something wrong, or this was stupid, don't say that, you know, whatever. It's my editor.
And
So,
she's outside of us, so that's a great thing.
right. So, if you know anybody who'd like to do that for me, Roland Halliday used to do it, but he's kind of aged out of that now. Roads, if somebody wants to be in charge of roads, that'd be great. Right now, we need a leader of that. And then, that's about it. So you want to be thinking about that and I'll try to follow up with everybody for sure.
And I still wanna work on the policy and procedure manual.
Sounds good. So Judy,
I said and we had an idea with that we'll kick around.
yeah. Okay, so that's that.
Okay.
Let's move on. Priorities was the other thing. And, on the back, if anybody wants, this is not official. But, if anybody wants to add, I started to list the things under what I personally am gonna do this year. And if you guys wanna use that as a cheat sheet and kind of, these are the projects you wanna see done before the end of the year that you're gonna work on. Otherwise, those ones that we're all gonna work together are at the top. Does anybody disagree with any of those?
Nope.
Anybody wanna add? If you think of something, get back to me.
Okay,
Okay, next is the short-term rental ordinance. And there are three different, at least three different documents with that.
do you want me to do this?
Yes, you are in charge now.
Our cheat sheet is much shorter this time. Everybody have this in front of them.
Oh, yeah, I think I still have-
Okay. And I'll lead off with, Dustin Fern wrote a very detailed note to all of us, and I looked at it and forwarded it to Tom Kucera and said, could you please address this, which he did beautifully. Dustin really drilled down into it. So I'm sure you guys all saw that email.
Yes, it did.
Okay.
It highlighted the parts that Tom came back with, but.
All right,
Yeah, we need to-
so
Talking about.
Judy went through it the first time as the editor, and there'll be, I'm sure, more of it. But if you look, one of the things Dustin Fern brought up was he wondered why we weren't addressing bed and breakfast in boarding houses. And so Tom's suggestion was under definitions that we add wording about bed and breakfast in boarding houses because the owner does live at the residence in theory, and they would have had to have gone through an approved special land use permit to either be a bed and breakfast or a boarding house.
Okay.
And so Tom reviewed my wording and he added and obtained an approved special land permit. So we say bed and breakfast dwelling for the purpose of this ordinance means a private residence that is also the owner's residence, has sleeping accommodations for lodgers, serves breakfast at no extra charge to lodgers. The owner lives at the residence and obtained an approved special land use permit. A boarding house for the purpose of this ordinance means a dwelling with one kitchen that provides lodging and meals for compensation other than family members. Boarding houses are not open to transient guests. The owner lives at the residence and obtained an approved special land use permit. Everybody good with that?
Yep.
I don't think we have any of those.
We don't, but
That's what we're adding.
100 years ago.
I don't think we've had a boarding house, but I think,
we.
no, we don't have a bed and breakfast either.
It could come up, and Tom said it doesn't hurt anything to have the definition in there, and if Dustin caught it in his first review of it, there might be others.
Okay,
So anyway, he said add that. Then on line 161,
161,
Yep.
161,
61,
way up here.
Tom and I added, this is under licensed required, bed and breakfast and boarding house dwellings as defined in section 2 are exempt from having to obtain a short-term rental license from the township. If they exist, they've already gone through the special land use permit, planning, and Tom would have seen it, and there would be no reason to get a short-term rental. Everybody good with that? Okay.
Makes sense.
I think so.
All right, then line 176. We have to set the number of licenses. And this is like throwing a dart at the wall till we get into this process. And then it can be adjusted as we see how many we get. I can tell you that Lake started with 150 and they just had a meeting and lowered their ceiling to 75.
Really, I thought it was higher than that.
No, I just looked today.
Okay, I thought it was in.
And they don't even have 75.
No, and they're not even near 75. The city of Frankfort, their ceiling's 122, but the website doesn't tell me how many actual licenses they've issued. So I think
I agree with 75.
we're like Lake. As close to Lake as we could be, and we can change this. Everybody good with 75 to start?
75 is kind of low.
I thought that, because there's no fee, it's only a registration for the first year. But that's when we're gonna get a handle on how many are out there. And it doesn't, you can take a number out of the air, but you might be surprised and,
Well, we thought we'd make a stab at it, and then if we have to change it, we will. What do you think of that?
I don't think it's necessary.
But then
First year, we don't wanna have a limit. We wanna see how many there are.
we're not having a limit the first year.
Well, if you set a number,
The first year, it says you're just applying and everybody gets in. But if we don't have a number, then we're approving an ordinance that's not complete. Am I thinking about that
well,
wrong?
you might be asking for more than we have. People might say, well, nobody else will allow them. Why don't they go here?
Yeah.
But whatever, that year will go fast.
Yeah, it will.
Does this ordinance apply to Crystal Lake residences? You know, yeah. There's in so many houses around Crystal Lake.
You'd be surprised though, when I went out on I went out on every rental site I could find. And I was lucky, what did I come up with? 35 maybe?
35. Okay,
Because when you hit the area, you're getting Lake and you're getting Platte even, and you're getting south of here on the Herring Lakes. And then if you really just go Crystal Lake Township,
There weren't
there
very
weren't very
many.
many.
it was about the same as Lake.
Because a lot of, then we can probably are assuming then that the Crystal Lake properties, right? The houses that are there would be exempt from getting a license because they don't advertise.
Correct.
And that they only rent to family and other people that they know.
But if you guys are good, I can change the language to say number 2 be determined after first year.
That would be good, I think.
If that makes him feel good, I could go with that.
All right,
That's where we were with the planning commission all the way along.
And
Okay.
you were the first people to draft this. Okay.
so I will do that on line, this was line 176, and I will do the same thing with line 181. Everybody good with that?
Yep.
Okay. And then Judy, oh no, on line 244. We don't want to have the application fee or the violation fees in the ordinance. Because if we do, every time we change them, we have to have a public meeting, the whole thing has to be put in the paper. If we do it by resolution, it makes it much easier for us to adjust this.
And that's what we do for like cemetery fees.
And
That's
Judy
separate.
pointed out, we don't have violations, we try not to have any of those fees in any of the ordinances.
Right.
So I changed line 244, number 1, a license fee will be set by resolution, and crossed out what is in the resolution.
You could say separate resolution.
Be set by, okay, separate,
Separate reasons.
all right, and then. The same thing. Oh, then when we get to violations, I did the same thing, and I will say by separate resolution,
Okay,
underneath violations. Then Judy, you had line 278, you had the date 2026 highlighted. And I didn't know why.
Just to confirm that that is the date that should be there.
November 26th, is that a November?
I know, because you and I did
I
this, we had
know.
to think, okay,
I
so
know.
we're in
You're right.
2025, and the first year,
It's going to be 26, so this should be 27.
we're adopting this now though, so isn't that,
So they'll start applying in the fall.
in the spring.
Yeah, well, yeah, they'll be applying right away.
Mhm.
I thought we weren't doing that this year.
I thought just for the first year, we're going out and we're saying register, but there's no, anything,
Right.
just register, that's it. And
Okay,
that
So are they
26 is,
registering in 2025?
no, they're,
yeah,
Yeah,
You-
they're
that's what
registering
Greg's saying.
2025, so it'd be renewals would be in 26.
okay, we got a lot of work to do if we're gonna take applications in 25.
I think we should get started on it and have the trial year this summer.
Who's we, as far as taking applications?
Who's we, Kimasabi? I meant you, Tonto.
Did You got a mouse in your pocket? I got way deeper into this than I planned on. We will have a discussion about who is gonna write the
Yes.
application, take the application, work with the,
Right,
yeah,
Okay,
okay.
get a form from Frankfort or Lake Township, and the applicant will fill it out, and there will be a record. It'll be filed in a record, and that's it for the first year.
and I actually
Pretty
think if
much.
we adopt this, we send something out, a special mailing.
I do too, but Greg, they would get inspected.
Oh,
They'd have to
Yeah.
be inspected, so
Okay, sure.
we're not just saying, ollie, you can be a short-term
Oh, yeah.
rental.
yeah,
So then somebody's got to get a hold of the chief, schedule the inspection, track all of this when
That's right.
people are applying. There's work to this,
there will be.
okay? So Judy,
So-
26 is correct,
Okay,
okay,
that's the only reason I highlighted it.
all right.
Okay.
And then line 492 to 501 is just me removing the violation fee schedule and setting that by resolution, and I will also add the word by separate resolution. Is that good with you guys?
Okay, and I'm back to this stupid date again.
Uh-huh.
Is that for the real year? Is it explained before that it's? Do we have a thing like,
You're saying you want to start taking the applications in 25. We are not going to have a ceiling on the applications in the year 25. Next November of 26, right?
So that's when you come up for renewal again?
Well, that's when they have to apply by in order
no, I
to,
think it would be 25.
Yeah.
It's this
Okay.
coming,
great, I can't wait.
Are we ready?
No, we're not.
But we're going to be.
ready when we get this information.
so it's actually supposed to be 2025.
Okay,
And just one other thing, I've attended several housing summits and for people from downstate, Mishta and everybody. And they recommend 2% of your dwellings. Do not exceed that.
okay, that's
But
a,
that's just something to think.
2% what? I
Of
missed
the
that.
dwellings can be used for short-term rentals.
Oh, that's how they came up with the number.
I'm gonna
Some
look up and do
places.
the calculation.
And I don't know, this does not binding on anybody.
I know, but I want to see if the number's anywhere close to
Yeah,
what other people are doing.
Okay. Is there anywhere in here that we're gonna say for the first year? It has to be,
Just
We'll-
the
we'll start-
registration.
we'll start taking them immediately?
Yeah, they need to have an application with no fee, but they need to fill out.
Do we need to have a line in there somewhere that says that?
Well, if you guys are starting it this year, I have to go through and change all the dates. Because this was starting calendar year 26, so that we had somebody to handle the applications, all the paperwork.
See, I don't think we're ready. We don't have all of that in place.
I think that will make us get them in place. We
Okay,
hire somebody and do it. Plus, you know what? I have a guy that's been calling me about they have software already that they want to sell us.
oh yeah, he's been after me too.
Yeah. Cole,
December.
was it somebody named Cole? So I will go through with you and
Okay.
reason out these dates again.
Okay.
And then I would be glad to help write this letter that we're gonna mail out to
Okay.
everybody.
Okay. And then
I think we're done then,
the resolutions
or the next thing.
are the next thing. Everybody that Amy and I talked to, the first year, the application fee was $500.
I noticed that.
Okay,
Right.
what Lake did, they decided after Mark had done it for a year, that when people reapply, if their ducks are all in a row, it didn't take him that long to handle the paperwork, so he lowered it for renewals. So I wanna see how that goes for us, but is everybody good with $500 for the initial fee?
Yeah.
Cause if we're gonna hire somebody, we gotta be able to pay for this.
Okay,
What do you think it's too high?
I thought that Lake said it was too high and that they had brought it down.
No, they're actually meeting and they're going to put it at 500, and I think they're gonna put their renewal fee at 500.
I don't think 500 is too much.
Okay.
People are making $500 before 10 in the morning.
Okay, so I will say, therefore be it resolved that Crystal Lake Township Board agrees, set the first year short-term rental license application fee at $500.
Okay.
Second, anybody?
Yes,
Okay.
so can you put the word to before set?
Two set.
I'm not following you.
Crystal Lake Township Board agrees to set the first.
Oh, gotcha.
year's term.
Gotcha. See, you
And
didn't.
Only Judy
I know you
catches
didn't, I
those.
have her review this
Yes.
before. Okay,
And it's the same on the
okay,
next
oh,
resolution.
please, let me
too.
fix it. All right,
Any discussion, you'd say?
Wait a minute, you made the motion.
I did.
Who seconded it?
You did.
Well, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't mean to?
No, I seconded, but I wanted that corrected.
It's been corrected, so now it's corrected to two until it's set.
And is it money, so you have to call roll? Okay.
Ferris,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes,
Marble,
Yes.
Van Meter, yes.
and I will tell you, the planning commission is gonna be very happy because we worked on this for so long. And you're making nice changes, right? We are making nice changes right here. And we want the township board to own this because it will be work. And it's gonna. What?
It will be work.
Yeah, I know it's gonna be work. I manage Reynolds. All right, then for violations, the first violation within the calendar year is written notice of I'm gonna back up a minute. What we learned from Mark was if the on-site individual, if you've got a rental and you're the person and you get a call and you take care of the problem, there is no violation. Mark makes it kind of a gut call. If it's a Sunday night at 1 a.m, it's a violation. So the first violation within a calendar year is a written notice of violation and a fine of $50. After notice and opportunity to correct the first violation, a second violation within the same calendar year should be subject to a municipal civil infraction citation punishable by a fine of $250. After notice and opportunity to correct the second violation, a third violation within the same calendar year at a single STR unit shall be subject to a municipal civil infraction punishable by a fine of $500, and the license for the short-term rental unit may be revoked as provided in section 6. Therefore, be it resolved that Crystal Lake Township Board agrees to set the short-term rental violation fee schedule as outlined above. Discussion?
Second?
Oh, second?
Yes,
Okay. This seemed to be, whether it was Detroit, Lake Township, Traverse City, this is kind of the schedule they went with, so that's how you and I kind of picked the numbers. And again, it can be adjusted. Mark says it hasn't been a big problem.
Mm,
No, it hasn't been, it'd be only abundant, I'm aware of that, we don't there.
really?
And it got solved real quick.
I think most people, Amy and I can attest to it. We get calls and you go talk to your renter and say, put your dog inside. It's driving the neighborhood nuts. We just don't like getting those calls.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, any further discussion? Roll call.
Right,
Yes.
Ferris,
Yes.
Marble,
yes.
Van Meter, yes, Weber,
Yes.
That's some real progress.
That's progress, so good. I think so too. Just, does anybody else get these in the mail? My husband and I get them, and my mother, a 101-year-old lady, gets these. And it's from Kucera, but it could be Airbnb, it could be all sorts of, and that they're actively looking for. Would you like to rent your cottage in northern Michigan? And we don't rent. My mother doesn't rent. I don't know where they got the idea that they should call us, but so
And just look at your address. And assume that you're on the water and you've got.
maybe that's it. They
Yeah.
looked to see who's.
Yeah. That's how they do it.
they haven't contacted me.
I would get contacted.
I love that. Oh, dear. Okay, so I think we're done with old business, new business.
I have a little. I met with Lindy and Molly at State Savings Bank this week. It's just preliminary, but I'm looking at what I'm comparing state savings to West Shore
Okay.
and seeing, like Lindy and Molly presented, how they protect their money, what they're paying for interest, that kind of thing. And there's some areas in West Shore that I think we're kind of being nickeled and dimed. And I want to see if there's other alternatives, and I will bring that information to the board. I will not make that decision in a vacuum.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you.
Actually, aren't you allowed to?
I think I am, but I don't want to make that on my own. I want you guys involved in that. It's all of our money.
Okay. By statute, I think you don't have to ask anybody. Which I think is kind of strange, you know, that there wouldn't be a check and balance on that, but you get to pick where we bank, so.
It's like the tax account. They say that it's just my signature, but when we go to training,
Mhm.
it absolutely, Judy could be in, and I want more people on it. It is a lot of responsibility. So anyway, I want you guys involved in that decision, but I had a great meeting with Lindy and Molly, and
I
we'll see
can't
where
see
that
Lindy
goes.
back there, yeah.
We'll see where it goes.
Any other new business? New cards, we had new, business cards printed up. And just thought I would mention that you should destroy any old ones that we have. And then, new email addresses, make sure that's on your correspondence, that we have a new email address. And, then again, a reminder about special meetings. There'll be one on the 22nd of January and one on the 26th of February. First one's for the lawsuit, second one is for the budget, so. And any, public comment at this time?
Couple little
Joe?
questions.
Yeah, sure.
Just from things you guys are talking about, I was curious about the BSNA. I mean, I'm not arguing getting it. I think, you know, it makes total sense, but
Okay.
I was just curious about like any maintenance fees or whatever they call them, is that?
The maintenance fee is about, and I will bring that to the board, but it is about what we're paying for QuickBooks. It's just that big chunk in the beginning for them to convert all the data, train us, set it all up. But QuickBooks isn't free, and
I just had no clue. What
Yeah.
Can we give a budget maybe and see?
okay, so when we meet with Keegan, who is the BSNA representative, he's gonna interview Judy and I want Amy to sit in on it. And then he'll come back with a whole proposal, and he'll break it down with, here's your training days, here's what this costs, here's your annual fee.
Oh, whether it's annual or monthly.
Correct. I know it's not monthly, it's annual.
All right, and the other thing, when talking about the short-term rental, I was
Mhm.
curious, because I don't know how the CSA handles their rental. Do they manage that for people, or is it all everybody's on their own? Okay, so there's nothing hidden with what they're doing.
No, the CSA tried to implement. Say this, they put a policy in place that if you have a rental in the CSA, you're to fill a form out. I do it every year for the rentals that I used to manage. Just so that the desk staff know that if Joe Gentle walks up, he really is supposed to be on the CSA grounds. Now, the likelihood that everybody that's running in the CSA was doing what Amy and I were doing is probably not. And we want to be really clear, the CSA is part of this rental ordinance.
Right. Yeah.
But I think a lot of the rentals there are word of mouth. And if
Right.
they want to avoid a
Right,
license,
sure.
then they don't advertise.
Yeah.
But if they advertise, they gotta come see Greg.
What I love about Joe is that I found this out just recently. You got an undergraduate degree, University of Michigan in philosophy. I mean,
Hold that against-
who does that? And then he's a statewide tennis coach. And,
I could learn from it.
and what have you got, a master's in something about computers, right?
Yeah.
Computer science.
Shouldn't he be on one of our committees?
Yeah, I think yes.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're almost done then. Any other public comment? Okay, board comment? We are adjourned. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming.
Okay. Amy,
Yeah.
what does your schedule look like for us just to sit down to kind of go over some of the things that I've already got? About like where you want us.
I could come in Friday.
Friday won't be good for me.
Okay.
Because I would love to.
Next Monday, Tuesday, next Tuesday.
Tuesday.
I'm turning 70, so I have to meet with my social security people on Monday.
What's your birthday? What's your birthday?
It's coming up in April.
Oh, okay, so
But-
how do you talk to you about that?